que ir atrás disso, de conseguir viver dentro realmente da necessidade. Que aí a gente vai sair desse universo, sabe, do desperdício, do acúmulo e dessa história da riqueza. Conheci um homem tão pobre, tão pobre, tão pobre, tão pobre, que ele só tinha dinheiro. Solo amazônico é o mais sensível, que degrada mais rápido, mas também é o que se regenera mais rápido. E é isso o ciclo da vida. E da relação com o chão, com a regeneração desses 28 hectares, nós temos uma comunidade chamada Ecovila Andê, um centro de educação florestal.
I got fascinated about this idea of designing a forest. I came from like the technology sector and almost like coding nature, but it's hard to code nature. Nature has been iterating for 5 billion years. But when you come here, you understand that the complexity is not just nature, it's about the people living here. And then you start creating this relationship. My hypothesis right now, it's really about being able to work with a standing forest, generating income, at the same time you are regenerating the land. So I think that's like how we need to move forward. But more than that, like I don't know. This should be all Amazon forest. This should be all like 200 meters tall tree. And right now it's just pasture. And this is endless, right? This is like all these places has been changing so much because of the conventional agriculture and cattle ranching and deforestation and mining and so many types of industries that doesn't work with a standing forest, doesn't match with a standing forest. I think what's happening, it's a lack of idea, it's a lack of strategy to work with the Amazon.
The Amazon forest, unfortunately, is very, very close to a tipping point. The synergistic combination of global warming and land use change in the Amazon would make between 50 and 70% of the Amazon to turn into this highly degraded open canopy ecosystem. Tremendous impact on the regional climate in South America, and also the risks for extinction of hundreds of thousands of species. Therefore, we urgently need to look for nature-based solutions.
The big challenge you have right now is not just protecting the forest that is standing, but understanding how agriculture and this huge industry can fit with the needs we have right now related with climate emergency. Our idea is that cotton will be like the first push, the first reason for the communities to develop agroforestry. There's a huge abyss between them, between communities and industry, and I'm trying to be this bridge. Oh, black pepper, cacau, açaí, coffee.
A gente está trabalhando com áreas degradadas, né? Então áreas que já sofreram muito, ou com ciclos consecutivos de roça, ou então porque foram desmatadas e foi plantado algum tipo de pasto, né? Então a gente precisa dar 2 passos para trás, né? Então fazer essa correção de solo. Então a gente precisa dar esse impulso a mais, porque a gente está trabalhando não só para plantar um sistema agroflorestal, a gente está trabalhando para recuperar uma área. Eu sou Alexandre Kaique, eu sou agrônomo e eu trabalho na FarFarm como líder de sistemas agroflorestais.
And that's the way we think about regeneration. It's like a step by step. We start with annual crops. We can get to a point where there's enough fruits, there's enough trees in the system they're shading too much the cotton and maybe don't need that income anymore. So the cotton will get out of the system, we move to another degraded area, and the cotton is pushing the way, leading the way as a cash crop, regenerating the Amazon, one agroforestry at a time. We are the Cooperativa Dirituia, and all the farmers that work with us, they sell their cotton through the cooperative. Cotton lint. And then with the spinning, you do like this. Then you spin it. So this is the bales with the traceability. So we know in this bale like this the weight, and this is the number 7 with all the families that are part of these bales, and these bales go straight to spinners, and they need to have a lot of volume. That's the tricky part. So if a fashion brand is buying raw materials from communities, developing communities, promoting ecosystem services, regenerating land, I think that's the best match. It's the best match because it's creating a reason for a fashion company to exist.
Quando a gente vê que a origem dessas matérias-primas que fazem um tênis que está nos pés de muitas pessoas ao redor do mundo, tem diferentes histórias de pessoas que vivem e dependem dos ecossistemas onde elas moram.
Veja was a huge supporter for us since the beginning. 4 demonstration units to 40 families to 100 families, and was like for us an ideal partner to be able to test it out and experiment so many different models, not just designing agroforestry but also how to work with traditional communities.
Muito legal mesmo. E a gente quer prosseguir mais ainda. Plantar aqui para produzir mais ainda, para sobreviver daqui mesmo.
Tem uma banana, tem um mamão, tem um abacaxi, tem uma como se diz, uma verdura, tem de tudo. Eu transformar a área que era capim numa grande agrofloresta.
Humans, Homo sapiens, we consume more than 7,000 products from global biodiversity over hundreds of thousands of years. Now, 85% of all protein and calorie from only 13 products.
As pessoas não podem continuar se alimentando como estão, porque a forma como a gente se alimenta hoje, a gente faz com que o agronegócio seja cada vez mais forte. Aquilo ali é uma floresta. Aqui a gente busca imitar o que está acontecendo lá, espécies de diferentes alturas. A gente tem diversidade, a gente tem mais de 20 espécies aqui, né? A gente está produzindo biomassa, que é o que a floresta faz, as folhas caem, é parecido com a floresta, mas não vai virar uma floresta no final.
We did a study looking at a comparison: livestock farming, cattle ranches, soy crops, and agroforest systems all over the Amazon. Cattle ranches, very low productivity, highly degraded pastures. What's the profit? $100 per hectare per year. Soy crops, $200, $300 per hectare per year. Agroforestry systems, $300 to $700. Cattle, 1 to 2 workers. Soy, almost all mechanized, half to 1 worker. Agroforestry systems, 10 to 20 workers per 100 hectare. So much more profitable and benefiting many, many more. So that shows the potential.
Quando a gente chega na agrofloresta, aí não tem retorno, né? Porque a gente começa a florestar o coração. Então, quando a gente começa a plantar árvores no coração, a gente começa a pulsar com a mesma, começa a sintonizar com a natureza. Não tem jeito. E aí, te falei isso no teu mestrado.
If someone says that they have the answer to solve the climate emergency, they are lying. I think it's way more about having the humility and being humble to not have the answer and going with an open heart to test different things.
Significa o meu propósito hoje de vida, né, de estar aqui, de lutar pela Amazônia, aprendendo com a floresta, aprendendo com toda essa força, né, da criação, de ser otimizadores desse processo de regeneração. Eu convido vocês que quiserem vir para essa experiência.
Imagine a place where you can see the entire restoration movement, where you can engage with just the click of a button. Welcome to Restor.